Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Total Biscuit, and you are listening right here to Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. My special guests, Mike and Chris from the Daily Blink, are here to talk about patch 4.1, which is a wonderful thing, is it not?
It is. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah. World of Warcraft. Kick ass.
So great conversation. See you guys next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris and Mike from the Daily Blink. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you. We be here all the week.
Excellent. We'll just make the cut right there. That'll be fantastic. And these guys will definitely not hear anything said after this point, so no problem at all.
Okay.
What do you
Great. No. Well, where do we start with 4.1? My God.
Well, there's not a lot there to start with, is there?
No.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, if there is an expansion of any kind, at some point, trolls are going to be jerks, and you're going to have to go murder them. It's just, we happen to know these trolls, which is kind of nice in a way.
Well, it's the same bloody trolls, isn't it? I thought we got done murdering them years ago.
Well,
I believe we renamed some of them.
the Zandalari knew
I
how
see.
the leader.
Mm.
There's a new guy. There's a new guy that's so new. I couldn't, we wanted to do a strip. So the Rise of the Zandalari video came out.
Oh, that was going to be a good strip.
Oh God, we can't do it now because it's not, by the time we get around to it, because so they had the video and there's this new guy, the Prophet Zool,
Yes.
because there is no Dana, only Zool. Zool shows up and he's talking to all these guys, and we had this great idea we can just tell it because we're never going to do the strip.
Yeah. Tell them what it was going to be.
So we were going to have him in Zul'Gurub, just kind of talking and giving his own version of the "I Have a Dream" speech, and he's up there and he's right in the middle of his speech and he's going absolutely nuts, and then all of a sudden 25 guys descend upon him. Whee! And they kill him. Look, I got a purple. And they all leave and the trolls are just kind of standing there waiting, going, what just happened? What? But because it's just kind of, everyone's just like, oh yeah, Zul'Gurub, yep, Zolaman, all right, done. Take our stuff. Ooh, more purples.
Pretty much.
But the problem is that the Prophet Zool, I can't find him in WoW Model Viewer at all. I don't think he's actually in the game as it's downloaded on your client. So I couldn't actually put his model in the comic strip. And so it's like I tried to fake it and it didn't look good at all. So I'm like, well, I guess we won't be doing this strip until they actually make him a boss. But by then the video will have been long, not topical anymore. So we just shed a tear and move on with our lives.
Yeah, because from a mechanical point of view, I loved those instances. So going back in them and getting current loot is fine by me. Happy fun, good times. I have nothing better to do anyway. My problem with it is I remember when Zulaman came out, the video for that consisted of the end boss saying he hated you and he wanted you all to die. And the video for this one involves a guy saying, let's all get together because it's awesome to be trolls. And I'm less excited about murdering that guy.
Yeah.
But you don't get to murder that guy yet.
That's even worse. Now I'm just killing his friends. That's not
So
cool
he's
either.
actually going to despise you by the time that you get there. It's like, well, we really, really wanted to be fantastic, and now you've just killed all my mates. I don't care for you anymore. I suppose that's maybe the plan, isn't it? He's too likable a villain, so you have to turn him into an absolute monster, then kill him, and then have a little bit of remorse afterwards, assuming that you cared about anything beyond the purples.
And I'm not exactly a lore expert, but isn't he just basically saying, let's rebuild our cities? He doesn't say that he's going to go after the Horde or Alliance at all. It's just basically, everyone got mowed down. Let's rebuild and be a good people again.
Well,
Not
yeah,
only that, but remember, this is the guy that sent you into Zul'Gurub the first time because he thought Hakar was a bad dude. This is a tribe of good trolls that gave you sweet faction loot when you went and killed the bad trolls. And now we're slaughtering the one that's saying, let's all get together and be happy trolls. Now I'm going to kill your friends, and then when you come after me, I'm going to act all indignant.
Yeah, I'd like to know what exactly happens with the people that are exalted with the Zandalari when they walk into Zul'Gurub and then start killing them. They're going to switch all the way to hated in a nanosecond.
Well, I keep hearing a lot of people making these theories about the identity of the Prophet Zool, and if there's going to be another, old gods did it kind of theory, or if the Prophet Zool isn't who he says he is, he's being manipulated by someone else, and it's just going to be this big misunderstanding, and the Zendal are going to go, oh my God, what did we just do? If it might turn into one of those things by the time we actually get to meet this Prophet Zool dude. But I don't know. That is, at this moment, just kind of a fan theory and nothing more.
Yeah, pretty much. As regards to the actual content, I can't say that I'm massively thrilled about it. I don't know. I've done so much Zul'Gurub, and while I did go and do the new one on the PTR, I tried it, and yeah, some of the bosses are different, but it has this all too familiar feeling, and it's not a nice familiar feeling either. It's not a nice blanket you used to hug as a child. It's this evil ripped up doll without a head and missing an arm that you despise and used to stare at you from the corner of your room, and you used to cry yourselves to sleep at night under its torturous gaze. And maybe that was just me, but whatever the case, I don't feel confident by it.
A bit too much.
Yeah,
Mike
I have serious problems.
I played a lot of Zul'Gurub back in the day. I didn't do so much with Zul'Aman. It's one of those things like I'm really excited to get back into it just as kind of a nostalgia kick, but it's not something where I'm chomping at the bit to do these boss fights and get back. Like I'm still at the same time I'm not in the fastest guild in the world. I'm in a guild that is a bit more casual paced, and also because like I couldn't be a hardcore raider with the schedule we have making the comic strip. So we're still doing this other content that we haven't finished yet. And now you're going to throw these other ones, and now it's like, oh god, now what do we focus on? Well, I suppose we should go back and do those so that we can get those purples, and then that'll help us with the other ones. But I almost feel like we're like you at the same time while you say, well, we didn't get that much content. Well, that was enough to really screw up my guild's kind of mission statement as to what we're taking on, and so it's going to get the next few weeks should be a bit fun in a kind of confusing kind of way.
I will be honest with you. The only way I can queue for the troll instances is if I put on my PvP gear.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I kill people, not things, as a rule.
Right, that's right. You're the PvP guy. I'm a raider. He's a PvP guy. I want to do more PvP. I'm really interested in rated battlegrounds. Rated battlegrounds look awesome to me, but I don't have the resilience yet. Need to get that.
Oh, your mage skirt's a little flimsy there. Can't take a couple whacks.
4.1 mages are it's the OP of OPness. I am so excited.
It's a wonderful
about
thing, is it not?
4 mages. I don't want to get into a balanced debate, but yeah, mages.
It's not a balanced debate.
Mages.
Mages are supposed to be awesome. That's not a balanced debate. That's as far as I'm concerned, God-given fact.
Yep.
I don't think it's a balanced debate either. It's not just mages. I just happen to think that if you don't have the good sense to wear metal armor, you deserve what my two-handed weapons are going to do to you.
You have two-handed weapons?
Yes.
You have 4 arms?
No, I have 2 really strong arms. Warriors do roids.
Now we're gonna get called to the Department of Justice and have hearings, and I'm not here to talk about past patches.
Yes, we can't have any of that nonsense. Yeah, the mage changes are always welcome, certainly. It's funny that you should bring up the whole scheduling for casual raid guilds, though, isn't it? When you bring in content that's maybe about 4.5 months down the line, and it's 2 new 5-man dungeons, and the raid content we're not expecting to see for another 2 months at least, by the sounds of it. And I think the main problem, I suppose, that I've got with the 4.1 5-man content is the fact that it's kind of a tier above the stuff that we already have. It's item level 309, I believe. It's either 303. No, it's not 309. It's 363 or something like that.
Well, there's the item level in like BOT and Bastion of Twilight and massive brain fart. Help me out here, Mike. Save me. It's 359.
Yeah, 359, and the other stuff's 353. That's what it is. Yeah,
there you go.
The new stuff's 353. I believe you can choose those dungeons now from the dungeon finder, can't you? You can choose a random tier 2 dungeon, which consists of 2 dungeons, and you get more points for doing those as a daily than you would otherwise. So, effectively, the optimum way of doing this is to do the same 2 dungeons every day, over and over and over again.
I'm in bunches. I'm so excited. You have no idea.
You just can't.
They didn't think that one through.
There's no way.
Not.
Like I already don't like pugging. There's no way I'm doing those new 5-mans as a pug. No, thank you.
I experienced pugging Zul'Aman back when it was the 10-man, and that was an adventure.
They were trying to get them out, weren't they?
It got to a point where I would do it just to watch people I didn't like get eaten by bears.
There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I think that's a fairly reasonable way of passing the time, honestly. But unfortunately,
those bears were mean.
If you were looking for loot, then mean bears were not all that helpful, especially when you had an incapable party. But, oh my, yes, that the idea of doing those 2 dungeons that I've already done an awful lot of again and again and again, and knowing for a fact that the variety that we currently have in terms of the 5 mans is irrelevant, because if you want to go optimal, then you've just got to go do those ones. I don't know what they were thinking.
I try not to pretend that I can read the mind of Blizzard's development staff, and being in the industry that I work in, I tend to sympathize a lot more than I give the benefit of the doubt a lot more than other people. So I will just sit there and nod and go, "Yeah, I understand. That's frustrating," and then kind of walk away awkwardly before people start asking me about my own credentials.
Well, in their defense, it's worth mentioning that there is a significant chunk of the player base that never did Zul'Aman or Zul'Gurub, because Zul'Aman was forever ago and Zul'Gurub was forever and a day ago, back when you needed resistance on armor. May those days rest in peace.
Yeah.
That I will certainly not dispute.
There's also the case of, who is it that is driving what Blizzard works on? I mean, we have this conversation with StarCraft all the time in terms of how do you make balanced decisions when the way that pros play the game in esports and the way that casuals play the game can tend to be completely different. And so it's a case of, you have this percentage. They've cleared all the content. Some people cleared all the content in 3 weeks, a month. And then you have these other people like myself that are still working on this stuff. And so it's a case of, okay, well, who do we build the game for? Is it for these bleeding edge people? Do we build it for the masses, quote unquote? I'm making quote fingers, even though we're on radio. Mm-hmm. But there's that they have to be constantly asking those questions as to what do they focus on for the people, and who are we going to piss off the least, basically.
But here's an interesting point that illustrates the difference, I think, between those two games. If they were to say, hey, here's the Terran campaign from StarCraft, re-released in StarCraft 2 for free, we would all go, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
That's a very good point.
And it's already been done in terms of the mod. You can actually download it, but it's actually very good as well, and I recommend that people do that. You can go and play the Terran campaign in StarCraft 2 from StarCraft 1. It's not official, but hey. I think the attitude really should be whoever complained about having too much content. And the first person I've ever heard do that would be you, Chris, in fact. Saying that you don't have the time.
I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that I'm complaining. I love having options. I'm just saying that in terms of the timing of it means that we have to make some really hard decisions about what we're going to spend our time on. I will never, ever complain about too much content.
Well, I think what we've just learned is that you are the problem.
I am the problem.
And you need to be nerfed immediately.
All right, where's my nerf bat? I'm going to hit myself in the head.
As long as we just nerf him and not the rest of his class peers, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
I think that it comes down to the fact that having choices and having to make choices is actually kind of a wonderful thing, in my opinion.
It is. Yes.
There were days when I did not have the time to do everything. In fact, today would be one of them. And I can't do all of the content that's there. There were times in TBC when I was not raiding so hardcore and I couldn't do everything. And our guild was actually okay with that. And we would sort of rotate a raid schedule around every 2 weeks. And now it's even easier to do because of raid lockout extension. You can do a dungeon for as long as you damn well please. Yes, you will not get the optimum number of purples, but if you look at your guild as a guild as opposed to look at your guild as part of a ladder on a server and you're trying to compete, then I think you can get a lot of fulfillment out of that.
Agreed.
Yes.
That's really... You said everything that I needed to, so...
It's quality radio right there, Chris.
Fantastic stuff.
What's the old joke? It's like, I understand that you're studying how to have a good conversation. Is that true? Yes.
I should bring you on more often to agree with me. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, we'll just be your yes man in the background. Total Biscuit's a genius. My God.
More.
Oh dear Lord. Right. So yes, dungeon content done. 4.2 is shiny though. Bear this in mind.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Did anyone find it a little bit odd that they released 4.1 and then immediately we are literally drowned in 4.2 media? I have never seen a media blitz like this ever for a patch. It's absurd.
I think it was intentionally so that, like, some guy got about halfway through his blog post about how this was rehashed content and then just had to eat it.
Yeah, I think it was me, actually, come to think of it. I don't think anyone can really argue with the 4.2 lineup, but it's really, really hard to pick holes in. Aside from the fact that we don't know
I-
if the Abyssal Maw is going to be there because they haven't told us yet.
I would like more fire.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough. I think we
sure?
need more. Yes.
Yeah.
We were,
At least, let's see. We don't have. We have a fire cat. We have a fire spider. We have some fire monsters. I believe there's a
Yep.
fire dragon,
Fire
but we don't
giants.
have any fire fish.
No.
We don't have any fire.
wombats. No fire wombats.
There are no fire wombats. There is not a hogger on fire, which I would like to see.
That could be arranged.
We should just burn.
Let me just respec.
We should just but let's take the Cataclysm further. Let's just burn all of Elwyn Forest and Darkshire. Really any Alliance area. Let's just burn
They
it.
never liked that anyway.
Stormwind.
Yeah. Westfall. There we
They
go.
already half tried to do that, but it was such a half-assed effort. I think Deathwing just got bored halfway through. I don't blame him. Stormwind's the most boring city imaginable. But, whatever the case, the 4.2 content does look really, really solid, honestly. And
Yeah.
I am okay with them releasing all of this content. Why would I not be? It's just... So it's sort of a shame that it's going to take as long as it is, and that this raid dungeon that was supposed to be out on release is now 6 to 7 months down the line, and we've seen this before. This is exactly the same situation we're in with Wrath.
But did you see the priest armor? The priest armor's nice. Look, shinies. Shinies.
Have you seen the Hunter armor?
Oh,
Yeah,
Who the hell thought it was a good idea to remove peripheral vision and depth perception from a ranged class? An eye
You
patch.
do realize there have been people that just don't even have faces in past armor sets, right?
A fair
Yeah,
point.
well, let's also
Wasn't that a
remember-
PvP set where the warrior's face was on fire, if I recall correctly?
I think we might have done a strip about
I think
that.
you did.
we did.
Actually.
He was screaming in pain. But also remember, these are the same people who, for the last 4 years, have made rogue armor glow. Because if you want to sneak up on someone and stab them in the back, it's really important that your armor glows in the dark.
Yes, and let's not even get into Hunter camouflage. What exactly are they hiding within, I have to wonder.
I don't know. I think it was really funny because I've heard hunters more than anyone else complain about their tier gear, and then they got the samurai armor finally, which I thought was really awesome, and now they have this thing, and I don't know what it is. I think it's like a demon, goblin, troll, pirate. thing.
I'm looking at it right now, and I really actually don't know what's going on with it. It seems fairly silly. It kind of looks like druid armor to me, honestly, and that's weird.
I would have paid good money to give them Gilban armor.
Interesting.
That would have made me extremely happy because I don't have a hunter. But oh no, this they look like what do you call them? Those big snake things that were in Molten Core, like Lucifron.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
The Hunter armor.
Yeah, the hunter armor. And
Little
Death
bit.
Knights have apparently stolen the paladin motif of glowing crystals for no reason.
Well,
Yeah,
someone
I'm
else
not
had to
really
get it.
scared by that. They've got this sort of orange metallic beard thing going on, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. And they're wearing butterflies on their head, which is not all that deathy.
May just finally get a feather in their cap. Literally.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're gonna feel like a badass with that helmet on. Oh yes.
Hide
Well,
helmet is the best thing ever invented by man or beast.
And then the
Plume equals deeps.
paladins get skirts again.
They
They
deserve,
deserve
it.
I love that everyone's just immediately in agreement with that. Oh, screw
How could you not
paladins.
be? I don't really know what's going on with their faceplate, honestly. And for one thing, they don't have 3 eyes. What is the purpose of this third slot?
That's for their horns.
Oh, that will someday come out.
The paladins are all unicorns inside.
They are. This is true.
They're very special.
Glad that you shone me the light on that one, Mike.
Very small horns, apparently, because you cannot see through that faceplate.
We got to get back to Thrall though. Oh my God, Thrall.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. So, like we were saying before, we did put up a comic where we were making fun of them because Thrall is supposed to be basically one of the biggest badasses in all of Warcraft history. He's the most powerful shaman, and he led the orcs to this and that, and he was war chief for forever, and now he's personally holding the Maelstrom in place with his Johnson. And all he does is stand there and do nothing. And we were, poking fun about this. And their response, like a week later, was, "Okay, we're going to murder him, rip his soul into 4 pieces, and scatter it around Azeroth." How do you feel about it now?
And then if you read the patch notes, they have that Batman line like at the end of a half-hour episode. Is this the end of the Son of Durotan? It's like, tune in tomorrow, same patch time, same patch channel. There's the people have talked a lot about how Metzen has basically all but said that this is a setup for him. What's the name? The Earth something. I'm brain farting
Neltharion,
again. No, there's something that he's supposed to become that I
the
can't.
Guardian of Tirisfal.
Yeah, something like that, and it's just
Yeah.
a setup for that. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, dude, you had him standing on a rock that you can only get to once, and you can't get back to unless you did some crazy. I abandoned the quest without turning it in once I got into Deep Home, and it's like Thrall deserves better than that. Come on, man. We write way too much about Thrall. We love Thrall's character. We love his backstory. We love his lore, but to that we were like, oh come on, oh come on. So this was just icing on the cake.
And I love
Yeah.
how we have to get his soul back together by beating the crap out of it. That makes perfect sense.
It does. I think that's perfectly logical.
Sounds completely reasonable to me. I think it allows some players to get a little bit of vengeance on the guy. I don't know, maybe they're feeling a little bit hurt over the past few years. Might have an abandonment complex. I mean, he did just bugger off and leave us with a complete dick. So,
Well,
I suppose
we
we are out for him.
What Mike, when you wrote it for the strip, you're talking about what Thrall has done since Vanilla WoW. What is this timeline of things that Blizzard has written him to do?
Let's see. Thrall has stood there. Thank you for taking out the burning blade when you were level 10. Completely ignored you until you were 60. Thank you for bringing him ahead. And then, oh, yes, if you spent about 29 days questing in Negran, he went to visit his grandma.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then in the lore side, he allowed Garrosh, who we can't stand and absolutely hate and make fun of more than anyone else in the strip. If Thrall is who we write about more than anyone, Garrosh is who we make fun of more than anyone else. Allowed Garrosh to take everything over, buggered off, and now is where he is now. And now going into 4.2, we'll now have this new storyline.
Well, yeah, because where he is now is babysitting a hole wearing a fanny pack.
The fanny pack. Oh, thank you for no, not thank you for reminding me. God.
Yeah. Thrall's running over to Walmart as soon as he's done sealing the maelstrom.
All he needs now is some rollerblades and jorts, and he can match with Nathan Fillion.
You think about this way too much. I don't believe you had the balls to accuse me of coming up with some ridiculous ideas. Oh, Lord. I suppose this is kind of your job description, though, so we can let it slide.
It is, sadly, yeah. Yeah. This is how we spend our evenings.
Yeah, so throw in about 45 minutes of losing in StarCraft 2, and that's how we write a strip right there. You've seen the process now. I've ruined the magic.
My
Yeah,
God,
that
man, you've said
process
too
seems
much.
oddly familiar. I can't imagine why.
Well, at least we don't stream our ladder, because that would be really painful to watch. We're silver.
We should play sometime. You know, I'm only gold. You could probably beat me.
We should do a round robin, the three of us, just so you can feel really good about yourself.
I will build nothing but Reapers.
There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Maybe in a 3v3.
You can't do a mono battle. You can't do a mono battle just 1v1. There's only one of you and you're like, Marines, woo, I win.
No, Marines can shoot land and air. I like the all Reaper strategy better. To be fair, they'll never see it coming.
Science vessels. Oh wait, we can't do that yet.
Maybe on a custom map. Okay,
Yeah.
folks. We are well over time. And do any of you care? Probably not. Oh, I think this is a good opportunity to bring this particular guest slot to a close. Chris and Mike from the Daily Blink, thank you very much. Guys, go check them out over at
www.thedailyblink.com.
Fantastic. It's what you want. It's what you need, folks. And keep an eye out for more happenings from them later. Go buy yourself a copy of PC Gamer in the US. Go read their strip. And we'll see what comes of these guys over the next few months. Hopefully some great stuff. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show. Much appreciated. And we will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.